This video will show you how to set up a Raspberry Pi and set up Wi-Fi on it. This means being able to wirelessly connect to another network with it. What is a Raspberry Pi? A Raspberry Pi is a small computer roughly the size of a credit card that has a lot of the capabilities of a larger computer, but it's a fraction of the size and the cost. Looking at this particular Raspberry Pi, which is the Model B, you can see that it has an HDMI port, has two USB ports, and an Ethernet port. And if it's turned over, you can see that there is a port for SD cards. This is important to remember, as it's crucial to being able to set up the Raspberry Pi in the first place. The objectives. The primary objective is to set up the Pi and get Wi-Fi working. This incorporates knowing what equipment you will need, installing an operating system on the Pi, connecting to the Pi remotely, installing the necessary software, setting up the Wi-Fi, and connecting to the internet. The tools and equipment you will need to carry out this task are a Raspberry Pi, preferably a B, SD card, which has to be 8 GB or more in order to fit the operating system on, an SD card reader, an HDMI cable, an Ethernet cable, a keyboard and a mouse with USB ports, a wireless adapter compatible with Linux, and a computer with internet access. Installing the operating system. The first step is to install Raspbian on the SD card. The easiest way to do this is to go to the Raspberry Pi website, go to the download page and download the noobs file. Now extract the file and then go to sdcard.org and find SD formatter 4.0 for SD. Download the one for your computer's operating system. Now insert your SD card into your reader and start up the formatter. Navigate to the drive associated with the SD card and click Format. After you've done this, open up the SD card and drag and drop the noobs files onto it. These are the extracted files. Once you've done this, remove the SD card and insert it into the Pi. Now insert your keyboard and mouse into the USB port. Connect an HDMI cable between the Pi and your monitor, and lastly power up the Pi. It's important you do this in this order because the USB ports can cause quite a power draw and that can potentially just wreck your Pi. You will be greeted by a screen asking you which operating system to install. I recommend installing Raspbian, and for the purpose of this video, install Raspbian. This should take some time. Once it's done, you will see the configuration menu. Here you can set the time and date and a bunch of other settings. When you're ready to continue, use Tab to move to Finish. By default, the username is Pi and the password is Raspberry. To load the GUI, use the command startx. We'll need this later on. Now the easiest way I found to get Wi-Fi working is to use the GUI, the graphical user interface. To effectively do this, we will remotely tap into the GUI. First, find out what your Pi's IP address is. This is important. Open up command line and type ifconfig. This will show you the IP address. Now that we've got this, we'll make a note of it and write it down and power down your Raspberry Pi. Now connect the Pi to your computer with an Ethernet cable and remove the keyboard and mouse and insert the compatible adapter. Now on your main computer, download PuTTY and Xming. Install both PuTTY and Xming. Whilst installing Xming, be sure to create a shortcut for it when it gives you the option. Then, after having installed them both, go to the properties on the Xming shortcut and make sure it's set to, say, -rootless, here, where I'm highlighting. Now start up PuTTY. Go to X11 on the left here and enable forwarding. Once you've done that, enter your IP address for the Pi, log in and type start lxde, that's start, LXDE, all lowercase or one word. The desktop should appear in the Xming window. Now click this icon in the bottom left, go to Internet, and then WPA GUI. Once there, make sure the adapter is set to WLAN 0, as it should pick up the one that's plugged in, and scan for the network you want to connect to. Then simply click on it, and where it says PSK, enter the password of your router/network. And there you go, you are now on the internet, as can be seen here. It's possible to do all of this wireless configuration using just command line and not going into the GUI at all, but I found it to be simpler to just use the GUI in this case after having multiple failed attempts at setting it up using command line. If you found this video helpful, or you have any tips, or you yourself have managed to make progress using the command line, then feel free to leave a comment below this video, and thank you for watching.